I grew up in New York and I had gotten married, and then I had a tragedy that happened to me in around 2021 after COVID. My wife passed away. We have a son, and he was about 1.5 years old, and it was like I had to rebuild my whole life. My son and I, we went through this journey that we're still on, obviously. And it really brought me down a very spiritual path. It brought me down a very interesting path. And I had to face a lot of things in life. I had to face a lot of things in myself, going inward, and at the same time being a dad and having fun and having a child to enjoy life and the grieving process and everything else. And I always liked helping people. I have a business background, and I like doing business consulting. And so what I've done and what I like to do is mix the business consulting with the spirituality. And I do that because I feel like business people need more spiritual, and I feel like spiritual people need more business. And a lot of times the things that are stopping people in their business are limiting beliefs, are blockages, things from when we were a child, things that maybe someone told us that we believed them, but maybe they're not true. And I think that stops people from love. I think it stops people from finances. It stops people from themselves. And it's about getting out of your own way. And so that's part of the story.
If you mentioned spirituality, and especially after what has happened to you, it seems that you connected more with spirituality. So, to me, spirituality comes in many different definitions. So I would like to know, how did you find your own spirituality, and what spirituality means to you?
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think it can mean a lot to different people. I think that as long as you're not hurting anyone, any definition is good. For me, it's about going inward and understanding that life is a mirror, that a lot of the things we're facing on the inside are manifesting on the outside. It also means that we have the power to build our own story. We have the power to change the way we want to identify ourselves. And so sometimes with spirituality, it's about kind of like that there's more to the world than just meets the eye, right? We know that there's more to life. We know that life is a beautiful place, and we're living this human experience. And at the same time, we can agree that the world is just too crazy of a place. There's too many things going on for it to just be, 3D, three-dimensional. It is what it is, right? There has to be more out there. And so I think that's very important to just, whether it's God, whether it's spirituality, whether it's connecting, it's that there's more out there. It's more than just, I'm gonna eat, sleep, eat, sleep, repeat, go to work. There's more than meets the eye.
I love what you're saying, because you're connecting spirituality with your own self. And it seems, by the way you're describing spirituality, is that it's a lot about taking ownership of your life, right? And defining from your inner self. Because I would say a lot of the times, spirituality for some people can be seen as you're letting go, and then life will, life will have it for you. On influence, whatever may happen. But you're connecting in spirituality in a way that you're taking more ownership of your life. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, and it's cool that you said that, because there is these dualities, right? And that's why I think people get confused, where it's like letting go, trusting the process, but not sitting on the couch and just hoping that the love of your life walks through the door. And so, I think that that's where people get messed up sometimes, where they're busy manifesting, but maybe they're not doing. And so for me, yeah, I believe that there is extreme ownership. I believe that you can have ownership and faith. So it's almost like this. It's like faith and worry are the two different sides of the same coin. So you can be delusionally faithful and you could be delusionally worried. And so you might as well have faith. Now, if you think about like Noah's Ark, which is a very famous story, and it's a story that most religions believe in, right? Most religious people, most non-religious people know about Noah's Ark. That's a perfect example of there's this guy that is preparing for a giant storm, and he's building this gigantic boat. At the same time, he's trusting that God's gonna take care of the process and God's gonna help him. So he's not just sitting on the island and not doing anything. He's building this boat, and at the same time, he has the faith. So it's things like that where a lot of times two things can be true at once. And I think that people sometimes they get lost in the sauce, or sometimes it's just easier to say, I'm gonna sit there and manifest, or I'm gonna sit there and hypnotize myself, or I'm gonna sit there and I'm going to let go. And all those things are important. But if you just go to the gym and all you're doing is sitting there, you're not going to get in shape. So I think that it's one of those things where it's not so easy. I think of it more as a volume control than an on and off switch.
I see. So it's a good perspective because, and it helps. I think also on myself, it is a combination.
Yeah.
You need to have the faith to keep going, and it's act as a motivating factor. And sometimes manifesting helps. Thinking I'm gonna make it. Just having that belief that you're gonna do it, but at the same time acting upon it, right? And it's probably like the combination that you need to get to the next stage. And of course, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but because of the tragedy that happened to you, you needed that strength. And I feel like those two components of taking ownership of your situation and having this faith helped you, let's say, reach different potentials.
Yeah, absolutely.